Wednesday, 17th of November, 2021, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Big news this morning. Bank of England credibility, in my opinion, has never been great, but it's probably been shot now. Even investors, I think, are probably finding it hard, mainstream investors, mainstream economists, finding it hard to maintain any kind of faith and confidence in the Bank of England, I would say. We've had the CPI and RPI data come out this morning. So wait for this. In October, the annualized rate of CPI and RPI, of course, is probably a truer measure of rising prices and the rising cost of living. They came out annualized at 13.2%. Yes. Of course, they're going to come out and say that it came out at 4.2 and 6%. Yes, that's compared to the year before. The 13.2 is because on a monthly basis in October, both of them rose by 1.1. So if you multiply that by 12, you get just over 13%. And the other thing I would say, UK economic data, up until the pandemic broke out last year and the lockdowns, used to come out at 9:30 a.m. London time. And that's a reasonable time because the markets open around 8 in London. So participants have a way to react to the news. But now, for some reason, they're releasing these numbers at 7 a.m. while a lot of people are still asleep. Why they're doing that? Well, my tinfoil hat conspiratorial mind says that Bank of England probably wants to be manipulating the markets when these numbers come out because everything is so out of whack. The Bank of England and the UK preceded the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which was created in 1934 in the US. They created one called the Exchange Equalization Account in 1931. And it's interesting that that was the year that the UK went off gold for good. Yeah, they went off completely in 1931. They went off in 1914 for World War I. They tried to come back in the mid to late 20s. Winston Churchill was the Chancellor of the Exchequer back then, and they came back at a very low rate. And what does that mean? Well, they should have devalued the currency versus gold. They didn't have as much gold to back all their notes. And that's why they had to leave in 31. That's why they created that Exchange Equalization Fund. It was to manipulate markets. So I don't know how long it's going to be until people wake up and realize that this is getting out of hand. How can you have the base rate set by the Bank of England at almost zero? Right now it's 0.1, and you've got prices rising at an annualized rate of more than 10%. If this was happening in other countries, well, it is in Turkey, for example, or in Brazil, emerging market countries. If they were doing this to their currency, or to the system, if they're inflating as much as this, their currencies would be going down the pan. How come sterling has been able to maintain its stability? Well, because there's a club out there. It's the Fed, the Bank of England, the ECB, the BOJ, probably the RBA and others, major countries that help each other out. They manipulate the price of gold. They lease it out, especially from London through the LBMA many times over, to keep a semblance of, credibility. But I personally think this is going to end very badly. Yes, the Bank of England is most probably going to raise rates now in December, but they're only going to do it probably by 0.1. They need to raise it really 1% every month for the next 6 months if they really want to stop the inflation. Of course, you're going to hear excuses in the news, mainstream news, from mainstream economists. They're going to blame everything and everyone, the Russians, they're going to blame the gas situation, the energy situation, but they're never going to talk about the fact that the government borrowed and spent 20% of our economy while they locked it down last year. They're not going to talk about the fact that the Bank of England now has 50% almost of the UK's GDP on its balance sheet. That's how much QE they've done. That's why prices are rising. They're not going to stop, because I think this is part of the agenda. Because when the system is overloaded with so much public debt, corporate debt, and private debt, you need to keep inflating, because in a fiat currency system, the debt is the currency. And the more currency you get, the more debt you need to create to keep paying off that currency to keep the system going. Yes, there's only one way things will end up. The currency will be totally obliterated, or the central bank can stop the inflation. But that would mean interest rates north of 10%. And I think that's an impossibility, really. It is possible, but they won't do it, because they'll do that. There'll be a revolution in this country. The housing market will collapse. The whole economy will collapse. Either way, they're between a rock and a hard place. So let's quickly look at where the markets are this morning. It's 8 a.m. Billy and I are bright and early. It's a beautiful day. It's cold and crisp, but it's a beautiful day. Billy had his walk. He's had his breakfast, so he's all set to sleep for the rest of the day. So we've got gold, 1856.40, up $6. Range has been 57 to 48. Silver is up 20 cents, back above 25.02. It's up just under 1%. Range has been 07 to 75. I think the key level above is going to be where the high was yesterday, around 25.40. I think if we break that level, I heard Michael Oliver of structural momentum analysis say that he has that level as a key level around actually 25.36. If we close above that level, he said things can really get going. The Dow future is up 5, NASDAQ 100 future is up 2, S&P is unchanged. The FTSE is down 27 points, just above 7,300. Sterling is up 0.1% at 134.40. The euro is down 0.1 as well, 113.03. The dollar is unchanged versus the yen, 114.89. Dollar is down slightly versus the yuan at 638.67. Aussie dollar is down 0.2 at 72.92. The dollar is unchanged versus the loonie or the Canadian dollar at 125.50. And the Kiwi dollar is just above 70, but it's up 0.25%. Let's check out the commodities. We got WTI crude down 0.5% at 79.30. High-grade copper is down 0.25% at 434.70. Natural gas has come back off a bit. It's down 2.6% at 5.10. So before we finish off, let's just check the UK 10-year yield, the gilts. I'd expect them to be up a lot, the yield, like 10 basis points. But as I said, the Bank of England is probably in there trying to manipulate things to keep things calm, to basically say, yeah, we're running inflation at over 10% on an annualized basis a month now. But yeah, 10-year yield is only 1%. I mean, it's crazy. It should be more like 10 or 12%. When investors wake up, it's gonna be too quickly to protect yourself with real money, gold and silver. If you don't have it now, yeah, you need to be worried, I would say. And anyway, yeah, it's only up 1.5 basis points, the 10-year yield. I'm going to keep an eye on it throughout the day, though, because I think things could get quite interesting in the bond market. The 10-year yield, the US 10-year yield is at 164, so that's creeping up as well. I think the key resistance there is 170, and the higher yields go, the more pressure also central banks get in terms of their credibility, because if you running rates at 0 in the short end, because that's mostly what they can control, and you've got even the 5-year or 2-year yields going up, yes, it's saying the markets expect something. But as I said, they're between a rock and a hard place. So there you go. Inflation as well is never really going to drop. And by dropping, I mean prices are going to drop or go negative. When they say that they expect inflation to come down after the middle of next year or something, that's always their thing, after the middle of next year. They mean that they expect the rate of prices rising is going to come down, but your currency is still going to be debased. So I can't remember the last time here in the UK that CPI or RPI were negative, and I can't see it coming. And in the US, I think you've had it twice in the last 70 years or so. So there you go. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to this channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and all these other platforms below here. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.